Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new series on YouTube. This is the Xpert 11 Road to Glory series, where I attempt to take my official team, Knights of Cydonia, a relatively new Division 7 team who were only founded in Season 26, and to turn them into Ultimate League champions. To my knowledge, there has never been a video series like this done before on YouTube, so this is going to be the first. Future episodes of this series are going to be charting the progress of this team on a weekly basis. You're going to be seeing which players I sign, which formations I play, which players I play, what the opponent's formation and players are, and every week you'll also get a match commentary from me on the main league match of the week, and possibly even a cup match if applicable. However, for this first episode I thought I'd introduce the team to you so that you know what I currently have at my disposal. Oh, and if you're watching this video expecting to use the information in here to gain a tactical advantage over me, all I can say is, nice try. I'm not going to be posting my tactics in these videos. So, without further ado, let's meet the team. First of all, we'll start by introducing the goalkeepers. First up is Aurelio Picasso. He was my captain and first choice goalkeeper last season, but the problem was my backup was a 27-year-old too-skilled keeper, which meant that goalkeeping wasn't exactly my greatest strength last season. Nevertheless, he has had an above average save percentage of 56%. The problem is he's not going to get any better than he currently is. For the future of the club, that is a major problem, but it is a problem that I have addressed during the transfer window. Introducing Kanji Aratani. 7 skill keeper, good in the air, signed from Major League side 2 Gas on Fire. This guy will be our goalkeeper for a long time to come. As you can see, he's 22 years old, but crucially he's already better than Picasso. And he will only continue to get better. Theoretically, by the time he hits Picasso's age, he could be a 16 skilled keeper. Solid signing and 2 million econ well spent. So now that we've covered the goalkeepers, let's move on to the defenders. Gavril Gorga, 12 skill, former Bastion defender. An admittedly short-term solution, but I needed a strong defender with plenty of experience to bump up a young defence, and he fits the bill. By far the best player in this team, and on top of that he is a free kick specialist too, which combined with his skill level should make him absolutely lethal. There are a few compatibility issues with other players, but I played a friendly yesterday against Raptiles and the defence held up extremely well, which is very encouraging, considering this was my weak point in the half season last time. Also, Gavril Gorga will be Knights of Cydonia captain this season, despite the fact that he doesn't have the heart attributes, but I think his skill level should outweigh this. Rodolfo Espejel, a starter under both the previous manager and me for a bit during the last season, but he's 32 years old and only 6 skill. He'll be gone eventually, but for now I'm keeping him as backup, just in case I get a whole ton of injuries. He's nothing special though, so moving on. Sene Brecco, a signing by the old manager from It's a Kind of Magic FC. Development of this guy hasn't exactly been amazing, and he was a 6 skill defender when I took over. He went up in the change report at the end of the season, so he's now one of the club's best defenders, and on top of that he has the tough attributes. However, he's not going to set the world alight in the future. At best this guy will be a 31-10 or a 31-11, which is going to cause problems in the higher divisions. Ignado Soufan, a starter last season. He was my free kick taker, but he didn't have a great change report, and he currently stands at a 23-5. On the bright side though, he's got free kick and penalty abilities, as well as the intelligence stats, but his playing time looks like he'll be cut next season because Gavril Gorga is a much better player. Rufus Roddick, one of my own signings here, signed him in the middle of the last season from the Golden League side Kerry Manchaz. It was kind of a dream scenario. My team was struggling in defence, and I received a notification in my inbox that a 7 skill defender that was 20 years old was on the market. Originally I was going to wait until before this season to strengthen my defence, but decided to take the opportunity to sign this guy. I beat off 6 other clubs to sign the guy, and he's been a regular starter for me ever since. Unfortunately, because he was a mid-season purchase, he is still 7 skill, but 21 now. However, that's still good enough. He's looking at very strong potential here. Quijol Fajardo, a young defender who's currently standing at 18-4, but he suffered from a lack of game time early on last season. Nevertheless, he still has time to improve, so I'm not throwing him on the deadweight pile just yet, and his heading attribute makes him useful at dealing with crosses, which could prove valuable if he gets developed. Aquiles Santamaria, the last of the defenders at the club. He's kind of like Gary Cahill in that he's a central defender with goal instincts. He's a 17 forward, which is the recommended starting point for most of today's top players. But it's similar to Preciado, so the challenge is going to be to develop these guys into first team players without compromising the strengths of my defence. And you'll be pleased to know that we are finally done with the defenders, so let's move on to the midfielders. First up, Piro Mayaya, 31 years of age, 8 skill. Not amazing by any means, however he won the award for most assists last season with a total of 13 assists, so he's a key player in midfield and one of the club's longest serving players. He'll eventually be phased out, but as long as he can have an impact on the games, I see no reason not to keep him. Ronaldo Pedrosa did a good job for me last season, although he isn't quite as good as Mejia. His value comes in being the club's main penalty taker, and he has played well above his skill level in the last few matches of the previous season. However, I see him as replaceable with a better player. 31-7 can easily be replaced, so he may be headed on his way out of the club. Thomas Amaro is a bit younger than the other two, but at 29-8 he's still a good midfielder and can do a job for me, like Mejia and Pedrosa. But again, he's going to be one that will eventually be replaced by better players as they grow and develop, and as I buy them. And the same goes for Oisin Burke, who was signed by the old manager and scored 5 goals last season. All this midfield worked well with each other, so let's move on to the midfield of the future. Xavi Alonso, 18-year-old midfielder whose name will probably ring a bell with many viewers. He was one of my first signings from the club, from Super League side Atletico Madrid, and I tried to give him as much game time as possible in his first season, but with only half a season he didn't get much chance and was restricted to just 4 appearances. Going to be much more involved this season though, he is now sporting the club's number 7 shirt, which is usually reserved at many clubs for either a right winger or an important player, and it should hopefully be a shirt number he grows into. Finally, Marius Clean is one of my new signings this season. He replaces Elia Alvarado in the squad, who made 9 appearances for me last season but was in all honesty dead weight, especially since he was only marginally better than Clean. Alvarado was going to retain his number 8 shirt for this season, but Clean has it instead. Again, like the other players, it's vital he gets game time to improve. And that is my midfield, so it's time to look at the strikers. Up front, Juliano Rojas. Great shooting power, great goal instincts, good at penalties, only 7 skill at 30 years old though, but his attributes make him a good striker for now. Similarly, Yago Hanyan, our number 9, is also 7 skilled, but unlike Rojas, he's 26 years old and could get better this coming season. For now, Hanyan will be relied upon to produce the goals, despite the fact that strikers could be better out there. The reason Hanyan is still here? Well, introducing the club's number 10, Vicentian Sanchez. Unfortunately, he didn't have a great change report and has dropped down to 4 skill at 20 years old, but like Preciado, I don't consider him dead weight yet. He forms a strong strike partnership with Yago Hanyan and has been a regular starter for me during the run of form towards the end of last season. He scored his first professional goal against FC Pomans last season, but has scored in friendlies too. Keeping him in good form is going to be vital. And that's my squad for you. Now here you can see all the players that I've bought since taking over as manager. Well, nearly all of them. There were 2 players that I bought before this, but they have both left the club after I made a mistake signing them in the first place. So, everyone from Sanchez downwards arrived during last season, while everyone from Gorka upwards was signed before the start of the upcoming season. And here are all the players that I've sacked from the club, all pretty bad players apart from Rico Hameli, who was 6'24", but the problem is that I signed Rufus Roddick, who had the same attributes as Hameli and was younger and had better skills, so that clearly there was no room for Hameli at the club. Similarly, also Juan Cristobal Aguinaga, my backup keeper from last season, was 25'3" when he started. He became 26'2" when the new season started. I said he was 27, I apologise, I made a mistake regarding that, but as you can see, all these players are pretty bad, and unfortunately Alonso and Ronaldinho were ones I signed myself, so hands up there, learn from your mistakes, sign better players, let's push onwards. Here's our upcoming opposition for the season. It's a pretty closely matched bunch, with the exception of Belfast City, who are by far the strongest team in this division. As a result, I don't really rate my chances of winning the whole thing, and AATB are a pretty good team too, but I reckon the team can get 3rd. So my target for this upcoming season is to finish in 3rd place, maybe even get better depending on how things pan out. We'll see how it goes. And that's it for this episode. Next episode will be the cup match against the Gunners Junior, and followed by that we'll have the first league game of the season against Hurricane United. So see you this time next week for more Xpert 11. If you like the video series concepts in this video, then feel free to show your support by clicking the like button below. If you're too lazy to use the search bar every week and would like easy access to my videos, hit that subscribe button. In fact, if you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button anyway. If you'd like to play Xpert 11 yourself, there's a link to the site in the description below. I've been the A Person, and I'll be back next week for more Xpert 11. See you guys then!